how many of you have seen or know someone with an AR-15 or wish to buy one of these rifles? It's okay. How about seeing a Black Hawk Down, like Call of Duty Modern Warfare? Okay, that's good. Alright. I worked in the firearm industry for about a little bit over a year. I've been researching gun laws and everything else for well over 2 years now. Today I want to introduce you some of the complicated gun laws regarding California regarding AR-15s. I will explain what the bullet gun is, elaborate the differences of a feature and a feature of this rifle, and some of the legal consequences of failure to comply. The AR-15, one of the most recognizable platforms out there in the world. One of the most common guns that we sell in the store. But, first thing I want to explain to you is a bullet gun. The bullet gun, it's a device that renders a normally detachable magazine to be fixed to the rifle. What it is this little red thing right here. Not too big. California Code of Regulations, Title 11, Section 5469, it defines a detachable magazine as an ammunition feeding device that can be removed from the rifle without use of a tool. With that being said, when you have an AR-15 with a removable magazine, it automatically constitutes it as an assault rifle, which is illegal in California. However, if you have a bullet gun put onto a rifle and you have all these other features attached to it, the bullet gun negates any evil features that you put onto the rifle. So that it can have pistol grip, telescoping stock, flash fighters, all that jazz. Let's see. So now with a little understanding of bullet gun, we'll move on to the differences of what a featured rifle and a featureless rifle can look like. In the California Penal Code 12276.1, it defines a bunch of characteristics that will constitute a rifle with a detachable magazine and a tow rifle. Some of the characteristics that you'll find is the telescoping buttstock, or a folding buttstock, one that can lengthen the rifle or shorten the rifle. Another one is a pistol grip that sits conspicuously below the action of the rifle. If you have a forward pistol grip on the rifle, that is another device that will constitute as a rifle, and a flash suppressor, one that is designed to reduce the muzzle flash of the rifle. But once you put a bullet button on it, it negates any evil feature that you put on, so you can have all of this stuff right here, which makes it a lot more fun. This is what a featureless rifle looks like. It is weird design. In the front, you don't have a flash suppressor, you don't have a forward grip, you don't have a pistol grip or telescoping buttstock. In this case, you do not need a bullet gun. You can have a fully functioning magazine release and run wherever you want in. This is what they consider featureless. And by the Department of Justice standards, they consider this to be not equal. Alright, so some of the things that can happen if you fail to comply with California laws. Lastly, in California, it is a gun owner's responsibility to know and understand the laws regarding firearms that he or she has. It is another responsibility of the salesperson or the law enforcement to notify him. It is the individual's responsibility. Failure to comply can lead to felonies, misdemeanors, loss of gun or gun rights, can lead to a penalty, fine, or a term in jail, or both. So I talked to you about the bullet gun and its useful purpose. This is a featured and featureless rifle, and some of the legal consequences that you can run into. I hope that for you future gun owners, you will stay on the right side of the law and have fun with the recreational shooting.
So Jeremy, what did you think?
I thought you had great vocal, the eye contact you did pretty good. You only read off the cards and needed to remind yourself about where you were. I think you did a good job of integrating the visual aids, like the types of guns, the types of rifles you have, the picture of the bullet button, because I know what it was. I think you had a good relation to the audience when you asked if, like, when they say video game, Call of Duty, stuff like that. And I thought you did a good job of explaining the characteristics of the rifle and the consequences of violating the rights.
All right, I thought the audience survey was a little bit awkward when you went to the reference to the video game, that you got a much better reaction there. And your personal experience is a nice justification for you to talk about this for yourself, but remember to talk about why it's important for the audience, or in this particular state because of the laws. I think you need to get that up a little bit more. You have a goal that's set up pretty well. I think you need a stronger preview of what the material is going to be. And organization is a little bit of an issue here. You've got a topical distribution of the material, but it does have a tendency to run together, and I think you need smoother transitions between the points, like from going to the features to the featureless weapons. Your description needs to be smoother. You need to explain what the difference is from a legal perspective, why they're concerned about those things, and why the presence of the bullet button changes that, why something is seen as being dangerous or non-dangerous. I know that you probably have limited desire to explain why the laws are the way they are, but you do want to explain why they are the way they are, so we understand why you have to talk about what you're discussing. And so I just think it needs a little bit more context there. I thought you did a very good job defining what the bullet button is and how it changes the way the weapon is perceived from a legal standpoint. I was at first a little concerned because you mentioned all of those extras that the bullet button renders, acceptable, and you don't really give us any information on that. But right after I made that comment, then that's the next slide you went to that then developed all that material. So that's an example of one of those things where the transitions need to be a little bit smoother and it needs a little bit more polish. I think you need a little more clarification on the featureless rifle too, and the same sort of thing about the legal standards are okay. The exit is all right. It just seems like it's a little bit underdeveloped. I think you could use, like I said, a little more context, maybe some personal experience that you're talking about these kinds of things. The first thing that popped in my head was, okay, this bullet button, that's an aftermarket product, I assume. How do people acquire it? How do they get it installed? Does that, what are the costs? All those kinds of things. Those are things that I'm thinking, well, that would make this a little bit more meaty as a subject. And if you had a personal story, for instance, about a conversion that you did that went through that process, you could tell us from your perspective how it changed your experience or the way you appreciate the weapon or something along those lines, to make it a little more interesting. Your speech is only 4 minutes and 40 seconds, so you've got plenty of time to add things to it to make it interesting. And I just add as a side note, this is what my future son-in-law does. Yeah, he manufactures bullet buttons and sells them, and he also installs them for people if they need them, and he makes bullets. So he's a gunsmith. No, it's just interesting. I said he's going to want to see this. I'm going to have to show it to him.